and yeah, appreciate the time today. So my name is Lanai Bain. I'm Vice President of Business Development with SEP Software. We also have Christian Ruoff on with us as well. He's our Global Support Manager and also does business development in the EMEA region as well. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about, like Amy said, some challenges that we have with backup and disaster recovery. A little bit of just company information, who we are, where we came from, what we do. We originally started as a production and automation software company in Germany about 30 years ago, and we were hired by several of our customers at the time, Alcatel and IKEA, to write some custom code to back up some of their mission-critical data in their warehouses. And that soon became a kind of a big hit with them, and the decision was made to bring that product to market. So the company SEP Systems split into SEP Software and SEP Systems, and this enterprise backup and disaster recovery solution was brought to market. It was completely rewritten from the ground up in 1996 and again in 2001. And we've just brought the product SEP to the US market about 4.5, 5 years ago. I kind of like to start out with the minimum requirements for SEP, just to kind of show, comparatively speaking, how it stacks up to some of the other backup software on the market today. The entire program is 54 megabytes, so it's extremely small. It's very well written, has a very small footprint, and I've actually seen people, run it on workstations as well as the main backup server. Not necessarily something I recommend, but very, very easy to do. We can install it in about, 2 minutes and have everything up and running, and then we can add schedules, add clients, and such. So very easy to install, very minimal requirements. So I know there's a lot of backup software out there today. So what separates SEP from the rest, and why is SEP a good solution? So basically, there's 3 real reasons and real things that we focus on here. And the first one is just to have one solution in an enterprise. After working with lots of different, enterprises, organizations, governments, schools, etc., we've realized that most organizations have more than one solution in place to meet their needs. A lot of folks have one solution for Linux. They may have a different solution for Windows. They could have some specialty solutions for different databases, and generally they'll have another solution for virtual technology. And so we wanted to provide a solution that gave everyone the opportunity to standardize down to one solution that managed their entire environment. And we think we've done a pretty good job with that. We support pretty much every operating system, database, and groupware technology on the market today, and we'll get a little bit more into that coming up. The other thing we really wanted to focus on was performance. So we wanted to have a high-performing solution that was very quick and efficient. And also, we wanted the backup solution to be reliable, which it's extremely reliable. And one little thing that I usually talk about during these webinars is our software was developed in Germany, and the laws in Germany are a little bit different than in the US. And in Germany, when a company tells another organization that they're going to back up their data, they actually become financially responsible for that data. So in the US, we get a little screen that pops up and it says, the software may or may not work. We hope it does, but if it doesn't, we're sorry. And you click OK and you accept those terms. In Germany, that's not possible. If you tell a bank that you're going to back up all of their data, you're actually financially responsible for all of that bank's data. So solution is very robust, very reliable. If you get a confirmation that a backup is there, it's going to be there 100% of the time. And kind of an added bonus that I throw in here also is the cost. We come in at about 40% of industry average, so it's a very competitive solution. Here's just a quick overview of some of the platforms that we support. One of the main things I'll talk about here is just at the bottom, the operating systems. You can install SEP on Windows, Linux, or Unix. So you can have your main backup server be on whatever platform you're most comfortable with. If you have an all Linux environment, then you don't have to bring a Windows machine into the mix for the backup server. Same with Unix, or if you have an all Windows environment, you can keep it all Windows as well. Some of the things that are, again, things that we really like to focus on is just having one single kind of pane of glass to look at your whole backup environment, having one console, having one thing to manage, and having one point of contact for everybody in the organization to go for backups. Not having to learn, several different programs can be very good. We can have our GUI running on any point of contact within the network, so it can run on a personal laptop, it can run on workstations. We can have multiple GUIs throughout the organization to people that are authorized to manage backups. So it's very easy to use, it's very flexible, and very robust. And as far as those platforms go, it can run on a Mac workstation, it can run on a Linux machine, Windows, Unix, etc. So it's a Java-based GUI, so it's very flexible. So one of the main things that we're going to be talking about today is what we call the double and triple play. Pretty much today, everybody has either virtual technology and physical, or they'll have physical and then they'll be backing up to the cloud, or a combination of virtual and the cloud, and usually, and I guess as cloud progresses, it's becoming more and more common that folks will have all three. And so because we're able to support all of those different environments, we refer to those accounts as double and triple plays. So again, overall concept, just being able to support any mix of those environments that people have, and being able to have a solution that's flexible enough that offers organizations the opportunity to go in any directions they'd like in the future. Here's an overall just kind of image of tying a lot of this stuff together. You can see that there's a main backup server here. It's attached to a storage area network. We can do direct backups to the SAN that are LAN free. So we can back up databases, file servers, virtual machines, whatever you'd like directly to a SAN environment. We can connect through multiple firewalls. We can back up to or from the internet, the cloud. And we could also manage remote locations as well. And those remote locations can have on-site media, or they can send data over the wire. It really is, very easy to set up and very easy to use, and offers worldwide capability that can all be managed from one office. As far as our multi-streaming goes, we have very good results with our multi-streaming. We're able to back up multiple streams of data to a single media at the same time. And so basically what that means is just a huge reduction in backup windows and a big reduction in backup time. So just a couple examples that we'll kind of touch on that highlight, the idea of managing everything from one console and also using the multi-streaming to decrease backup windows. Vodafone is one of our accounts in Europe. They have us installed in about 1,500 stores currently, and they're rolling us out to 4,200 more stores, I believe, this year. So that's a perfect example of being able to manage a very large environment with a lot of different remote locations from one data center. Another example of that is the Guardia Civil, basically equivalent to the FBI in Spain, and they back up all 450 of their sites around the country with SEP from one data center as well. Here in the U.S., the National Archiving and Record Administration uses SEP to manage and back up their entire enterprise email system. And this was a perfect example of the multi-streaming where when we first started speaking with them, their backups were taking almost a week. They were about 6.5 days. And we did a full backup with SEP. We enabled the multi-streaming. We didn't make any hardware configuration changes or do anything of the sort. And their first backup took 11 hours. Actually, I think their first backup was 13 hours. And once they had a backup or two already running, then it went down to about 11 hours. So they're actually able to do nightly backups, where before it was taking them a full week to do, just one full backup. Port of San Diego, very similar story. Backups were taking over 100 hours and were failing on a pretty regular basis. And our first backup with the multi-streaming technology took just under 4 hours. And in particular, they were very impressed by one of their Oracle databases that was being backed up. It went from over 4 hours down to about 42 minutes. I'm just going to kind of skip over these. These are some other examples of some customers with very similar situations, backups being completed in about 4.5 days, or backups that were 4.5 days going down to about 4 hours, et cetera. One test that we kind of did that was a good benchmark for us to, kind of compare our solution to all the other big players in the industry was done at NATO headquarters in one of their data centers. And so we were invited by NATO to do some testing with them to qualify for a bid. And the requirements to qualify for the RFP were to back up 8 million files in under 4 hours. And I believe they invited 11 companies to test. 4 qualified, including us. And so there was one company that did just right around 8 million, just over 8 million. Another one that did 10, and one that made just over 11 million files in that amount of time. And SEP, because of the multi-streaming, was actually able to back up 72 million files in 4 hours. So that kind of gives you a relative look at the speed and performance, compared to the other solutions on the market today. And kind of another example here, we have a customer that kicks off one backup job. They have many backup jobs, but there's one task that starts 1,100 servers to be backed up at one time, which I think for us I think that's the largest one that we have. We have plenty of accounts that do, 100 or 200 at a time, and I think 1,100 is the largest one we've seen. And their backups are very quick. So because SEP uses all generic drivers, we're able to, support any media that is recognized by the operating system. So we can back up to disk, we can back up to tape, we can back up to NAS or SAN, anything that's recognized by the operating system we can back up to. So we don't do proprietary drivers. If you want to go out and buy new hardware, you don't have to wait for us to, come out with a hardware driver for that or anything. You can just get whatever you'd like, you plug it in, and it instantly works. And we also have disaster recovery options for Linux, Linux and Windows. And again, you can run SEP on any platform, Windows, Linux, or Unix. We do have archival solution that uses Worm technology. So it's all integrated into one console. So you don't have to go out and get a different archiving product. You can use the internal SEP archiving product, Easy Archive, which does a great job in securing data, making it so it can't be altered or deleted or erased or anything like that. We have deduplication functionality and also, like I mentioned before, remote device capability to manage, alternate locations, whether it be in a building next door or a factory or a warehouse or something across the globe. So the same concepts that we talked about basically apply to our cloud solution as well. Why use SEP or why use the cloud? When using the cloud, obviously we want a solution that's going to transfer the least amount of data to and from the cloud. We want something that's going to be high performing, that's going to maximize our bandwidth to or from the cloud or to a private cloud or even, a DR location. We want something that's going to be reliable, so it's basically just set it and forget it. We know that our backups are running. We know that our data is being moved off-site so that we have an extra copy of that data, and we can always use that to fall back on in the case of an emergency. Like I had mentioned, we do offer bare metal for Linux and Windows. We have several different products that will allow you to restore to either similar hardware or to restore to dissimilar hardware. And basically it just gives you a bootable image file or a CD, and you can basically just boot up the exact same machine on bare metal. You can or boot it in a VM, and gives quite a bit of functionality. Repartitions everything, installs the operating system, and just gets your server back up and running, in minutes rather than hours or days. The rest of this I'm going to go through a little bit quick so that we can jump in and do a little bit of a live demo to show you guys exactly what the product looks like, talk a little bit about some of the challenges that we see people facing today and how we're able to help those folks overcome this. So on the virtual side, we support Citrix Zen Server, VMware, Hyper-V, VMware and Hyper-V, and also open source Zen. So all of these solutions are agentless. They provide image level snapshot backups for all of the VMs, and we communicate directly with the APIs. So you don't have to install any software on your Citrix hypervisor or on your vSphere console or anything. All you do is go in and authenticate with your login credentials, and it basically just gets a list of all of the hosts and all of the guests. It auto-populates, and then you can see a breakdown of what guest has what VMs running on it. We can also track VMs when they go from, if they move from one guest to another in a pool situation. So it's pretty slick and pretty easy to use. And we can just drag and drop those VMs into a schedule and basically have an instantaneous backup solution up and running for your VMs. And we'll go in again and show you what that looks like here in a couple minutes. Basic overview of how those backups work. We just create a LVM snapshot. We mount that snapshot, do a backup, unmount it, and then delete it. So very straightforward. SEP is multi-node aware, so we can see different pools. We can see different, hosts and such. So we're actually able to schedule restores as well. So we can back up from one pool and schedule automatic restores to another pool, which basically gives users a warm standby that they can fall back on and use. Just some of the other databases and groupware products that we support, we'll just kind of breeze through real quick. Oracle, everything's supported through RMAN, so it's, we're communicating natively with Oracle, so if there's ever any changes, updates, upgrades, automatically compliant right off the bat. And just kind of a quick note, one of our banking customers has a 2 petabyte Oracle database, and I think that is to date, I think that's the largest Oracle database that we're backing up. We do have support for Netapp that came online at the end of 2012, and we've actually started working with Netapp in a different way to use a different solution that interfaces in with the Netapp API that gives us backups about 4 to 6 times faster than historically possible. So we can get very, very quick backups from Netapp. I would use fully support Exchange, everything after 2003. It's all VSS aware and DAG also. And we have very granular capabilities, so you can restore single users, single emails, you know, whatever you'd like. Full support for MS SQL, VSS aware, point-in-time restore, cross restore functionality within databases. We've been working with SAP for, the slide says over 15 years. I think it's actually been over more like over 20. And so we actually have the highest level certification of any third-party vendor with SAP. So works very well, integrates in extremely well, and the backups are very quick. In a Novell environment, we are actually the only enterprise-level backup and disaster recovery solution on the market today that supports all of Novell's environments. There are some solutions that support older versions of Novell. There are some solutions that support newer versions, but to my knowledge, no one supports the full range of products. So when communicating with Novell products, we communicate directly with the TSAs, and we can back up anything from NetWare 3.5 on up through OES 11. Also includes GroupWise, Vibe on-prem, etc. Mac OS is a new release also, so we now fully support all Mac products. Again, LAN-free backup capabilities to keep traffic off of the network, fully supported. And here's just a quick little visual of that. We can support everything on one network, or we can support multiple SANs on multiple different networks or in multiple locations. And just a quick list of some of our partners that we work with on a daily basis. And we were just going to do a quick question and answer. If anybody has any questions and would like to ask them, maybe we could answer a question or two while we're switching over to the live demo portion. So Christian's going to come on and basically just run through and give you guys a brief overview of kind of what everything looks like, show you what the interface looks like, show you how we connect to virtual technology, and all of that. And at any time, if anyone has any questions, you know, that would like to catch up with us directly after the webinar, please feel free to send us an email, give us a phone call. We're more than happy to, you know, engage with you guys and answer any questions you have, or kind of see what challenges you guys are facing individually. So,
thanks, Lanai. I'll go ahead and pass it over to Christian, and we do have just a couple questions in the meantime.
Okay.
And just a reminder, if anybody does have any questions, feel free to put those through on the chat or on the Q&A. Okay, so it looks like the first question, would Oracle's VirtualBox hosts and guests also be supported?
Christian, are you on?
Yeah, I'm on. Hi, guys. Yeah, Lanai.
Okay.
Thank you for the great, presentation. Yeah, I heard the first question, and the answer is VirtualBox is maybe the only virtualization we do not support at the moment, but we have future plans for that. At the moment, we support hypervisors like, VMware, Citrix and Hyper-V from the snapshot side. But if you want, you can use our free license virtualization package. This comes with a file agent for the VM and the bare metal recovery, light option. So when you lose a system, you can just start from our bare metal ISO and restore the whole image. This is what you can do with VirtualBox at the moment.
Perfect.
So I have just a couple other questions. First of all, Lanai, can we get a copy of the slides presented? I can provide those, Lanai, if you don't mind passing them over to me.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. I'd be happy to shoot those over to you at the end. And yeah, you can definitely distribute those to everybody. That's fine.
Okay, perfect. So then those will be sent out with the recording, which you should expect probably in your email tomorrow. So then one final question before we get started with Christian. Is there support for LVM?
Yes, we support LVM. We also did a little re-engineering for our Linux clients. So I think this is what I want to show you in the next couple of minutes, because we found there, an easy way to see all partitions on a file system and LVM as well.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Christian, I hear that you have a demo for us, and then we'll have some more time for Q&A at the end.
Yes. So can you see my screen?
Yes,
yes,
I can.
we can.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, guys, as Lenai told you, my name is Christian. I'm the German-Austrian guy, the Oscar winner, and I want to show you in the next 15 minutes how our product works. 15 minutes is not that much, because I could talk the whole day about this great product, and we will start with a very easy introduction. So everything starts with a SEP Sesam server. I installed our appliance just for this example in a VMware workstation. So this SEP appliance is a ISO image, what you can download, what you can install on a physical or in a virtual environment. It comes with a /11 in this example, with a Postgre database, what you need for a SEP Sesam server, and with pretty much everything pre-configured. And after the installation, I think the installation of the appliance takes really only 2 minutes. After that, you have to enter IP address, host name, etc., and then you have a backup server. I installed a graphical user interface on my Windows server, connected it to the backup server, and this is how our graphical user interface looks like. It is a very easy menu. Everything starts here at the top with components, topology. Here in components topology, you can add locations. Locations like first floor, like building 1, like I did, Microsoft, like Novell. This is more an overview feature that your colleagues or the other administrators in your company knows which server is located where. And to add clients or servers to your backup server, the only thing you have to do is install agents on it. For Linux or for OES system, the only thing you have to do is visit our download site and download here the client for Linux and Unix. I think here on the US side we have a great overview. Here you can get all the SEP Sesam servers. Here you can get the SEP Sesam clients, remote device servers, and it comes with a Red Hat Package Manager, MSI installer for Windows. We have also installs for Debian packages, so it's very easy for you to install. After the installation of the agent, just do a right-click on the location and say New Client. Type in the host name, choose the platform, just the main platform. Every Linux is a Unix. NetWare is for, all the NetWare versions like NetWare 6.5. I think we start with NetWare 3.5. Yeah, but you will not find an agent for an older NetWare version. The only thing you have to do in this case is start the TSA agents, and then we get the files transferred over the network to the SEP Sesam server and store it on disk or tape or, whatever you choose for your backup storage. Choose the operating system, agree with OK, and that's it. Maybe a special thing is here when you want to do a backup of a VMware environment. You have 2 options. Option number 1 is you can perform a LAN backup, so you install the agents, the SEP agent on the virtual center node, and that's pretty much it. Type in the host name of the vCenter server and fill out here the fields in the ESX server access. In this case, it's a 1 node It's not a cluster. It's a one-node machine with a root account and the data mover. The data mover should be a high-performance system which is connected to the same SAN as your ESX environment is. Because when SEP realized that he has a direct SAN connection, he switched from the LAN backup to a SAN backup, and you can do very, very high-performance SAN backup. Okay, yeah, very easy. The same here for Microsoft. When you want to do the backup of any Windows box, install the agent on it, go to new client, and here you can see it's a Windows 2008 R2, and it's pretty much everything what you have to do. For Novell, this is a little special. You install the agent on your OES 11, and after that you have to fill out here the account, password, and the data mover. The data mover is, it can be the OES box itself, but it could also be a SAN system somewhere in the middle, a Linux system which is connected to a SAN, and then you can perform LAN-free backups. So you always have the the chance to choose between LAN and LAN-free with SEP, which makes a big difference, because a 1 gigabit LAN connection to a client means that you can drive up to 390 gigabytes per hour, and when you switch to a SAN backup, it can be 800, 900 gigabytes per hour. It always depends on the system, on the hardware, what you choose. And step number 2 is the location, or it is how to install the disk storage. So you can use pretty much each technology. It starts with iSCSI, the whole SAN, and you can also use local disks. You can use NAS share. You can use UNC pass, whatever you want to use. There are no special recommendations. You should choose a quick storage. This is the only thing what we tell customers when they ask us, what should we buy for SEP? Is there something special what we have to take care on? No. The only thing you should do is buy something fast, because then you have a fast backup, okay? And how you install a data store is very easy. Just click here on the button, New Data Store, type in a name, like here, Test Disk Store, okay? Store type, the first one is the path. This is, just plain backup on a disk. The second is Easy Archive. My colleague and I already told you this is our warm technology for NTFS disks. So when you have to do a compliant backup on a disk, you can install our disk warm technology on a Windows server, install the SEP Easy Archive on it, and then everything what you write into this directory or on this disk is compliant. Encrypted. There is no way to change it. There is no way to manipulate a real archive. The third option is our Falcon Store dedup store. This is the deduplication technology what we use for the moment for making a local backup on the disk storage, deduplicate everything, and then replicate it to a second location. The fourth and the last is our new dedup technology. It's called SI3 Store. It's a very fast online deduplication. The difference between these two technologies is that you can do, or that you don't need landing space. So you can write save sets online into the SI3 store, and the deduplication starts immediate. With the Falcon Store technology, you have to back up everything first to a landing zone, and then the deduplication starts. Both products are great and very fast, okay? So the next special thing with the SI3 store is you can choose any disk device. There is no recommendation from our side that you have to use the iSCSI. You can use really every piece of disk. Browse, choose, any folder. Let me see. Yeah, I just added a new directory here in this box called dedup1. select it. Here he shows you some information about the storage. The channels, this is the multi-stream technology, what we have, and it starts with 5 channels and it ends with, unlimited channels. So when you have a high-performance backup environment, you can drive, so much channels as your physical environment is able to move. So one channel is one backup task. So when you have a virtual environment with, let me say, 500 VMs, you can buy a SEP Season edition, which allows you to run 500 channels and can do a backup of all these 500 systems in the same time on one storage. And that's the, and that's the secret why we are that fast, the multi-streaming technology. So just agree with OK. He asks you for creating a new media pool. Of course, let's choose a name like a daily backup storage. So, I like names like that because then everybody knows, okay, on this media pool, all my daily backups are. Here is a retention time, to get sure that you cannot overwrite files from today on the day after. Just, type in like something 14 days. And that's it. This is how you can prepare disk storage. The third option, tape libraries. We support all tape libraries. You can also take a look on our website. There we have a list. But seriously, we support pretty much everything. The only thing what you have to take care on is that the tape library comes with a driver, with a driver package for the operating system what you use for the SEP Season server. And that's all. And then you can say new tape library, type in the name, type in the SCSI ID, type in the device server. This is also a cool feature because you can decide to run the SEP Season server on a system A, but install the tape library on on one of your clients, because then you can do again land-free backup when you attach the tape drive or the whole tape library on a different node. Okay, and here type in the slots, barcode. We support, everything what comes with the tape library. Drives, this is more an overview because here you can install single tape drives, RDX drives, everything what's a single drive. This is what you can install here. Media pools, this is an overview for you to see, okay, how many media pools do I have? How many tapes are in my tape pool? This is another thing what you can see here. Just let me switch to a different box that you can see a bigger QA environment. Yeah, this is new. This is the overview of a very big environment with more than hundreds of tape drives. You can see it's locked until this date. You can see the occupancy. You can see is it inside the library or outside. Everything what you need, to handle your backup environment. And tasks by clients. Everything what you added here as a client, you can add, backup tasks to each client. Novell environment. This is the host name of the box. OES 11 GW 2012. The only thing I do is a right-click, say new backup task, and instead of filling out the field task name and source, I browse into the system, and SEP Season presents me, everything what you can find on the system. Here, for example, I have my group by server. I have a regular NSS file system. He found eDirectory. He found iFolder. In the close future, we will also support Filer and iPrint. And, for you, it's very easy. And the only thing you have to do is install the agent and the extension, and the rest is very easy. Here, for example, let me open my OES group bys. I select my post office, agree with OK. I just changed the task name to test because I already have a task name like that. Say OK. Right-click, immediate start, backup type full, on my data pool, and go. And now the backup, starts on my deduplication disk storage. And what you also can do is to put tasks together in a task group. We recommend that you should, add task groups like systems, like file. You see, you can put all your tasks very easy into this task group, so that after a main installation, the only thing you have to do is add clients, add tasks, put the task into a group. And what you can do here is you can put a task group into a schedule. So, for example, this is something what you can see better in the next screen. You have here, a schedule for a daily group-wise backup. That runs every 4 hours, and it starts at 10:45. You have here a daily file incremental. So from Monday to Friday, I start all my file backups with the backup type incremental on the media pool weekly backup. So it's very easy for you, to set up everything and do the administration of SEP CSAM. Here you can see, or here you have an overview of all your backup jobs. The green signal is the best you can get. This is our post office from the group-wise server. When you need a restore, just do right-click, say restore, select the backup task, select the only available one, and then you have your backup path to your group-wise location. So very easy, very simple. Select the file, next. Select a new target node. Just in case you want to do the restore on a different node, install a client on the second node, select it here as a target node, and choose here the original or the restore location, and start it. Yeah, I think this was a very quick overview because I think we have to take a little care on the time.
And Christian, I think we can just keep going for another couple minutes. We just need to be done by 10, so we'll have a couple minutes for Q&A. But do you want to just kind of go through and touch on some of the VMware stuff and VMware or Citrix, and just kind of show what that looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. This here is, let me show you that on a bigger environment. Here we have VMware Environment, or the Citrix SAN server. This is also, let me just show you. Okay, this is another example how easy SEP CSAM is. When I don't know which system is below which location, I can just type in here a piece of the host name. Yeah, SEP Citrix 1. This is what I was looking for. This is my client, SEP Citrix 1. New backup task. Browse into the system. And after a couple of seconds, he presents me, just give me a second, he presents me my Citrix master environment and all available VMs, and also the host backup and the metadata. So I can select here, any VM, click on OK, generate a backup task out of it, and, that's it, very easy. For VMware, let's take the VS 2008. Yeah, this is a big VMware ESX environment. Browse into the the easy thing is, because you can install the SEP agent on the virtual center, and the virtual center tells us where each VM is located at the moment. Like here, new backup task. Browse into the system. And, it doesn't matter how many nodes are in your cluster environment. The only important thing is that the virtual center can tell us which VM is started on which node. And, yeah, just take a second. Here you can see the data center, and below the data center you can see, all the virtual guests. Just select it, say OK, and here a new feature is backup VM configuration only. This is, a useful feature in case you have your virtual systems on special storage. The second one is backup virtual machine config and virtual disk in separate save sets. So this is a brand new feature, what will come out in the next release, because with this feature, you can write or you can choose an NFS share as the SEP season data store, write the backup from the VM on this data store, and mount the data store on your ESX server and start the VM directly out of the backup. So there is no downtime. Okay, this is a perfect feature. Or you use the new change block tracking mode. The CBT mode is something what what other backup companies have as well, but we combined this CBT backup with our deduplication. So it's more than only backing up the change blocks. It is backing up the change blocks, and the deduplication technology behind mirrors these new blocks with maybe already written blocks. So you can make this backup more efficient and very, very small. And another cool feature is when you store virtual systems on a dedu pool, you can start a replication to a totally different place at this planet and drive restores at the second place. So the bandwidth what you have to have between the two locations is it starts with 1 megabit, and because of the deduplication technology, what I can show you here, this is a overview of the deduplication. Here, for example, just let me see. I have a good status. Yes, I have. Bytes in repository 18 gigabytes, and bytes totally written 5. So this is only after 2 backup jobs, and it's very the ratio is great. We did tests with 70:1. Because just imagine how many equal files you have in your backup, like double emails, like double ISO images, like everything what's double in your environment. This is what the deduplication will recognize and just do a backup of one of these. Okay, and another good feature is our technology for doing backups of Netapp boxes. Very easy. Just connect to the Netapp with the account, which is able to connect the Netapp. Choose a high-performance system for the data mover, and with a right-click, new backup task, you can see all shares on the Netapp. Select one share, and when you start the share, we use the Netapp technology to do the snapshot, mount the snapshot over NFS to the backup server, and do a backup of it. Okay, this is a very, very fast and efficient backup method, to do backup of Netapp. And then something else. What do you think? What is, important?
I think that's probably pretty good. No, I think that's probably pretty good. Let's take a couple of minutes to do some quick Q&A. And also, I'd like to invite people, if you have any questions that don't get answered in the next couple minutes, please reach out to us. Just shoot us a quick email. You can email us at info@sepusa.com, or you can give us a call as well, and we'll post our contact information back up again on here as well. And I can I'll do a little chat to send it out to everyone as well. So does anyone have any questions here at the end, either specific to your environment or just overall functionality?
I have seen a couple questions come through, and again, if anyone has any more questions, feel free to put those through on the chat or the Q&A. So it looks like the first question, is there backup to private clouds such as Amazon?
Yeah, well, Christian, you want that, or you want me to take it? So yeah, we do support Amazon. We back up to Amazon S2, and we also support Citrix Cloud Stack as well. So you can back up to either one of those choices, and I believe they're testing Amazon S3 as well, and I'm not exactly sure, to be totally honest, what the status of that is. But yes, we can back up to Amazon. There's a lot of different ways to configure it. You can either push data to Amazon, or you can actually spin up a VM on Amazon, install SEP there, and then pull data from a data center or from a location to the cloud as well. You can replicate to different locations on the cloud. There's quite a few options and quite a few different ways to set that up. So I would say if you have questions about that, just contact me or somebody on our team, and just let us know, and we can kind of go through what your requirements are, what you're looking to do, and help you figure out a good solution for that.
Okay, perfect. So the next question is there support for KVM?
Yeah, Lanai, this is something what we work on at the moment. We start with a KVM solution from Red Hat first, and I think this release, which supports KVM for Red Hat, will come out, in summer this year, August, September maybe, and then we will see which KVM solution we will cover next.
Okay.
But what you always can do, this is very important, you can always use our agents for the VMs and our bare metal recovery solutions for Windows and Linux. This is what you can use now. And when the KVM is based on LVM, you can use our LVM snapshot technology for that.
All right, perfect. At this time, I'm not seeing any other questions, but if there are any, or if you do have any questions, still feel free to put those through on the chat or the Q&A, or as Lanai said, you can always email them directly at info@sepusa.com.
And the other thing I'll say too is, we're very happy to engage with people. If anybody has interest in checking out the product, doing a little proof of concept, doing a download, and really testing it in your environment to kind of see, what kind of speed you get and what it looks like in comparison to other solutions, just shoot us an email, let us know, and we're more than happy to get an engineer working with you to just kind of set up a little POC and give you a little test environment to work with, so that you can kind of have something to play with and just kick the tires and look under the hood and see how it works for you. So always happy to help as well.